Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for logging on and joining me for today's video, which is going to be on a topic that I get asked about quite a lot, and it seems to be something that a lot of people struggle with, a lot of people are curious about when it comes to my specific journey, but it's something that I feel like should be spoken about more, tips and tricks should be shared, and that's what today is about. So if you have any ideas on this topic, if you have anything you want to share, make sure you pop it in the comments box down below. But today we're going to be talking about hunger, cravings and snacks. Three things that together just make or break you, to be quite honest, when it comes to your journey. So yeah, I'm going to be telling you a bit of background in regards to my journey, what that looks like when it comes to hunger, snacking and cravings, and then I'm going to give you some general hints and tips of how you can avoid hunger, avoid excess snacking and try to channel your cravings. So it's very healthy to snack. It's also very healthy to have cravings. Your body wants something. Your body is communicating with you. It's your body's way of saying that you're lacking in a certain something or you fancy a certain something. And sometimes listening to your cravings can be a great way to get in touch with yourself, know what's going on inside and keep yourself happy, which I think is the main thing. You know, don't ignore your cravings. If there's something that you're fancying and your body has been telling you for quite a while, then the best thing to do in a lot of cases is just indulge in it and enjoy it and just don't have it in excess. So today I'm just going to tell you a bit of a background as to what I do when it comes to snacking, if I experienced hunger, especially at the beginning of my journey, because that's what I get asked about a lot, because obviously at the start it can be a bit of a shock to the system when you're decreasing your calorie intake quite significantly like I was. So bit of a background is the fact that yes, of course, at the beginning of my weight loss journey, and just to give you a bit of background, I started at 12 stone 2. I would say it's a size 14, 16 UK, probably a size 16 if I'm completely honest with myself. And now I'm a size 8, I'm 8 stone 9, which is a lot of weight to have lost. It's well over what I thought I would ever lose, and I'm super, super proud and happy. But the one thing I will say, it's been done very healthily, very sustainably, and I'm happier and healthier for it, which is great. A lot of you guys will have seen numerous videos that I've done in regards to my journey, how I stay motivated and everything like that. So if you are interested in other videos, make sure you check out the description box. A lot will be linked there. But that's me in regards to my journey. So of course, when you're starting off at 12 stone 2, you're used to a lot more than I was getting at that time. So another bit of background is that I come from a family of very, very large portion sizes, to the point where when I used to go to my in-laws for dinner, I was like, this is a starter for me, I'm hungry. I wasn't probably hungry, it was just, I was used to just eating what was on my plate. I would think nothing of having a full naan bread to myself, a big portion of rice, some chips or potatoes with a curry sauce or with anything that I was eating, some chicken, meat, steak, whatever. And I would eat all of that food and I wouldn't ever sit down and think about like, am I full? Am I just eating this because it's on my plate? And if this journey has taught me anything, it's portion control and everything in moderation. So I would definitely say the beginning months were a little bit harder. It got easier as it went on. As the weight decreased, obviously it got less, but there were times where I wasn't used to such a dramatic difference in the intake of calories, and I'm going to talk about how I combated that and share those tips with you today, because I feel like it comes into that section quite nicely. But yeah, there were times where I felt hungry and I did feel the need to make sure that I did something about it, because if you're hungry every single day, you're not gonna keep up with it. Like if your body's not fulfilled, if your mind's not fulfilled, if you're feeling hungry, you're likely to just give up because you're like, I can't do this, I'm hungry, I need to eat more. Like my body is telling me I'm hungry, I'm gonna be really unhappy. It can make you hungry. I am the worst person in the whole entire planet when I'm hungry. So that's me in terms of hunger. Yes, I did experience it at the beginning, but as I went on in my journey, I learned how to tackle it, I learned how to nail it, and now sometimes I'm like, I cannot eat that, like it's crazy. In regards to my cravings, I do get cravings just like everyone else from time to time. For example, last week I was craving a McDonald's. I just wanted it. I just wanted some shit food, and McDonald's is shit food, and I just wanted it. So I had it. I hit that sweet spot. It was great. I enjoyed it and I moved on from it. If I want some chocolate, I will have it. I have chocolate most days, like a little bit of something sweet most days. You guys will know if you watch my What I Eat in a Day videos that I have my afternoon coffee every day after picking Layla up from school, and that is the time where I tend to indulge in something a little bit sweet, a little bit of a treat, and that's normally where my chocolate intake comes in. I don't have it in excess, I will point it into my dailies, but I do like to have a little bit of something sweet. And again, I feel like that's my little carrot, it's my incentive. I didn't get down to the weight I am to say no to Milky Way or some chocolate buttons or whatever. It's not sustainable. You have to have a treat, you have to have realism, you have to have perspective on the matter. Your body is going to want chocolate, you are going to want sweet treats, you are going to want a donut. I had a Krispy Kreme the other day, honestly, it was great and I wouldn't deny any one of it because it's wonderful, but it's all about moderation. So I would say eat into your cravings, just don't overeat. Little and often is the key. Portion control. I know a lot of people struggle with that and portion control, and that is something I'm definitely going to do a separate video on because I feel like everyone's portion control is so different. Like you could go to eat at a friend's and you could think these portions are massive, or you could think they were tiny. It's all relative. Do you know what I mean? But it's super interesting. Let me know what your guys' portions are like down below. I'd be super interested to know. But that's how I tackle cravings. I eat them. I don't eat them in excess. I don't use them as a crutch, but I do eat them. When it comes to my snacking habits are pretty decent actually. I don't over snack. I live for my meals, so I live for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and I'm very disciplined around those boxes. Again, I do have my afternoon snack, which often comes with something sweet, but that works for me, it works for my body, it doesn't impact on my hunger, it doesn't make me bingey, it doesn't make me have the whole packet. I'm pretty good at saying no, I know my limits, I know how much I want to eat, so I don't snack overly, but what I will say is I always, if I do snack, most likely it's fruit. And I know it sounds boring, but I just happen to love fruit so much, so I'm really lucky insofar as the fact that snacking on a banana or a peach or a plum to me is just as satisfying as snacking on a Bounty. And I know that might sound crazy to some, but I really love fruit. So for me, I find that really easy, and if I do have a snack, it's rare, but it tends to be fruit. So that's my background with snacks, hunger and cravings. I'm now going to talk about some tips of what you guys can do to avoid hunger, satisfy your cravings and also snack better. So number one is do not have boring menus. How many times have you guys heard me say keep your menus, keep your food interesting? It makes the world of difference. I do regular what I eat in a day videos, so if you are looking for inspiration on that front, I will put my playlist in the description box down below. You can go and check it out. And it's just full of recipes. Like, just because you're calorie controlled, just because you're on a lifestyle plan, just because you're looking to eat well, doesn't mean you have to eat boring. Healthy is not boring. And you'll notice that I also eat unhealthy stuff in there as well. Like, I'm not so regimented all of the time. I do have processed, I do have a treat from time to time, but the key of it is keep your menus interesting. Do not get stuck in a rut. Batch cook to make things easier for you, to make your life easier. You're less likely to opt for a takeaway if you batch cook. I've spoken about batch cooking on meal planning. I'll put that video above in case you do want to get more familiar with how I meal plan. But the key learning of this is to keep your menu and keep your food interesting, because you're far less likely to get bored of it, look for something new, have a craving for something, and then go and binge eat. Do you know what I mean? It's all connected, guys. It's all connected. The next one, and this is a huge tip, and this is something that has cost me a lot of money in the past, and something I feel like a lot of people can relate to. Try not to do your food shopping on an empty stomach. We've all been there where we've gone mid-morning for lunch, and you'll notice when you get to the checkout that it mainly consists of snacks, chocolates, donuts, chicken wings, whatever, you know, potato tots, whatever you want to call it, chips. And you look and you think your fruit and veg pile is significant, like you've done your shop, but you've also stuck a lot in your basket as well. I tend to try where I can, and it's not always possible, to do my food shop, my main food shops after I've eaten a big meal, because I'm less likely to be swayed by all the amazing looking treats. And I'll pick up what I need and I'm good to go. So try not to do your food shop on an empty stomach. It will help you out. The next thing kind of goes into that really nicely, and it is when you are doing your food shop, have a house full of food that drives you. Have a house full of food that nourishes you, that makes you happy, that fulfills you, that keeps you full for longer. I will always say, even if you're not on Weight Watchers, even if you're not on any kind of wellness plan, keep a food diary. And I find this really helpful to look for traits. Like, you might think like, I cannot stop eating this week. My body just does not feel full at all. And you'll have that where you felt the week before like you were struggling to eat what was in front of you. What were you eating that week? Were you eating high in fibre, high in protein, high in carbs? Just have a look at what you're eating, food forecast, and think, you know, my body had a really good week that week. It was eating well, I felt fuller for longer. What were you eating that week? It obviously drove you, it obviously nourished you, obviously did a lot of good for your inside, and you weren't lacking, you weren't craving, you weren't hungry. So do a bit of food forecasting. It might sound a bit anal and a little bit like, really? But you'll be surprised at what you can learn. The things that you take for granted when you're just eating and you don't really think about it. It's really, really interesting what your body is doing. So I would definitely do some food forecasting. I know it's lame, but I'm that person, guys. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the mind. It's not easy, is it? It's not easy to deny yourself. It's not easy to have a bad day and not want to reach for a Domino's menu. Like, life is hard, guys, and there are going to be times when sometimes a Krispy Kreme donut is the only light at the end of your tunnel. And again, we've spoken about have what you want, have your cravings, but I would challenge you to have a think about, are you actually hungry, or are you feeling something else, a void that needs to be filled? Stress, anxiety, boredom. All of these factors can play a key part in our diet, a key part in the way our mind works and the way our body functions. So what I would say is, a lot of it is in the mind. Really get to grips with knowing your body. Are you full? Are you hungry? If you're hungry, eat. If you're not, you don't need to fill that void with chocolate. You don't need to fill it with whatever. I would use food that I like as a treat as opposed to a crutch. And I've done a whole video on binge eating. I'll link it above so you guys can go and check it out. But I would challenge you to really have a think about it. Like, are you hungry? And answer that question before you, because a lot of it is in the mind and it's hard. The next thing I'm going to talk about is fake food. Now, I have done a whole video on fake food. I will link it above. I suggest you go and watch it. But this is more about being educated. It's more about knowing what you're eating. It's making yourself accountable. And it's also something that's going to help with hunger as well, because there are so many foods that are marketed to us as healthy, but they're actually not. And when you scan them, when you look at them, you think, I can have 2 eggs and a chicken breast by the time I've taken up the points of this or the calories of this one cereal bar. So you may as well be eating more food that is good for you as opposed to less food that is bad for you, leaves you hungry, you're not satisfied, you're then looking for your next hit. I think if people were more educated in regards to what they eat, they would be far happier and less hungry. And let's face it, it's not nice to feel hungry. I am, the worst person in the world to be around when I'm hungry. So I try to eat foods that basically mean I'm not hungry. Unless I'm just about to eat my meal. I don't have bouts of hunger throughout the day. I just don't. And the last thing I'm going to say, and this is something that's very, very obvious, and it's kind of a bit hypocritical with this big fat mug of coffee in my hands, but it's drink more water. This is something that I need to do more often, guys. Like, I'm not perfect at it, but I try to keep a bottle of Evian on my desk, one in my car, and one flask in the house for me to use throughout the day to sip on. And obviously, if you drink water, you're going to feel fuller for longer. Sometimes your body can play tricks on you. Sometimes you'll be lacking something like hydration, and your body will say, I need something. And you automatically just think, I need to eat, I'm hungry. But sometimes you're just dehydrated and your body just needs that kickstart of hydration to get things pumping and things working as they should. Keep water on you. Eat, have a nice big glass of water with your meals as well, because that will help you get fuller for longer. And yeah, stay hydrated, guys, because it really does help. So that is all my tips to share when it comes to hunger, cravings, and my snacking habits. Again, I'd be really interested to know where you guys are at in the comments down below, so do get in touch, do let me know. And of course, if you do have any tips to share on any of the areas, feel free to let us all know. I'd be super keen to hear from you. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment. I've just said that. Like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!